Hi, my name is Gerry Madden, and I'm delighted to have been given this opportunity to speak to you on the 10th anniversary of the creation of SWU. I am a social worker myself. I qualified back in 1983, which seems an awful long time ago, and I'm currently the Northern Ireland representative on the Social Workers Union Executive. And I also have the privilege of currently being the honorary treasurer of SWU. I was also present at the very first meeting of the Social Workers Union Executive back in 2011. And on an occasion like this, I do think it important to take a few moments to reflect on why SWU was created in the first place. And I think the reason why this is important is because that understanding will help, I think, inform and shape the vision that we all want to have for the next 10 years. So BASWA created SWU in 2011, basically to ensure continuing employment representation services remained available to its members. At that time, BASWA was becoming increasingly aware that they were being frozen out by employers from employment representation hearings. And the situation was that the only organisation as such that employers were legally obliged to recognise were in fact bona fide trade unions. So from that point of view, that created a difficulty for BASWA. BASWA is a membership organisation, and this has always been one of its core strengths. And I think, looking back, that the decision to create the Social Workers Union was in many ways an instinctive reaction to protect our members. And I think it's important to understand this because the availability of advice and representation continues, in my opinion, to be the primary motivator as to why people join BASWA/SWU. So that helps to put in context or understand the very core reason why it was that BASWA created SWU. But I think it's also important to recognise that there was a wider context at the time, and in 2011, both social work and social workers were facing a very real crisis of identity. And I think this had come about through the recent baby case. There was then the subsequent surrounding the College of Social Work, which convulsed BASWA and indeed others as well for a period of time. And then lastly, in 2010, the creation of the Conservative Liberal Coalition and the introduction of austerity politics, which had and continues to have such a devastating impact upon the very people that social work seeks to help. So from this wider perspective, I think that the establishment of SWU could be seen as a symbol of hope for social workers in the best historical tradition of trade union activity. In other words, as something which would both protect and further the rights and interests of social workers. And I don't think it's too fanciful therefore, to say that the creation of SWU was a moment of real historical significance in providing hope for social work and social workers. And I think that is probably maybe best reflected in a quote that comes from Seamus Heaney, the late Irish poet. And I'm just going to quote a particular piece of his work when he said, quote, "History says don't hope on this side of the grave, but then once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice rises up and make hope and history rhyme." And I think the creation of SWU needs to be viewed in that context. Today, 10 years on, SWU has almost 15,000 members and growing. What a tribute to all of those who have worked and continue to work so tirelessly to achieve such monumental progress, and warmest congratulations to all involved. But we cannot rest here, and I'd like to finish by calling on all social workers, each and every individual social worker in the United Kingdom, to please come and join us. Play your part, and over the next 10 years, make the Social Workers Union the union for social workers. Thank you very much.